London Heathrow, host to 78 million passengers, nearly 500,000 flights, and one very unusual animal reception centre. Animals passing through Heathrow come here to be checked in.
Oh, he's really cute.
Also known as the Ark, it's equipped to welcome almost any species through its doors.
Its feet are massive. Not that big.
From reptiles and livestock to pets and predators. It's up to the Ark to make sure everyone is clear to enter the country.
Oh, textbook, Dan, textbook.
More than 200,000 animals passed through last year alone. And its dedicated team of over 40 staff are on hand every hour of every day.
Where's your water pot?
And are always prepared to expect the unexpected.
Oh.
Today on Animal Airport, an expensive rabbit from Iran.
Well, I'm sure he's well-loved. People spend this much money to put him in quarantine.
An inspirational little dog is collected by its new owner.
I was just humbled by her will to live and spirit.
And riot shields are needed.
Got a bit feisty.
To dodge some snappy customers. The UK has been rabies-free since 1922. And it's the Animal Reception Centre's job to keep it that way. The team here is on the front line, a key part of Britain's defence against this deadly disease. For Admin Officer Mel, it's the most critical element of the work they do.
Fundamentally, we are here to protect the UK from rabies. Globally, 55,000 people a year still die from rabies, and it is not a nice way to go.
And today, Mel is briefing intern Dan on what he needs to do with a pet rabbit called Arta, who's just flown in from Iran.
The only things that can come in the pet travel scheme are cats, dogs and ferrets. Yeah, so rabbits have to be quarantined.
Yeah.
Rabbits have to be imported under quarantine. So they'll come into the Ark and we will let them out of their carriers into a little pen area, give them hay, food, and then they will go off to their quarantine facility for 4 months.
All right, let's go.
Any rabbit from outside the EU could be carrying rabies, so Arta's gone straight to the Ark's quarantine wing. Dan's task is to give the bunny a bite to eat.
Aside from the quarantine aspect, it is very much the same as any other pet. It comes in, we release it, give it water and food. Especially rabbits, they always need to have food. They're constantly eating. They eat their own poo as well, which is quite funny.
Hopefully Dan has something a little tastier on the menu.
Hey, buddy. Oh, look at it. Big bunny ears. Seems like a nice rabbit. It's quite a social creature.
With an estimated bill of around £4,000 for the flight, plus the cost of a 4-month stay in quarantine, this pet bunny clearly has some committed owners.
Well, I'm sure he's well-loved. People spend this much money to put him in quarantine for a few months. Definitely loved rabbit. Gorgeous eyes as well.
Once Arta's had a feed, he'll be ready to hop over to a nearby isolation centre for the rest of his stay. Staff at the Ark are so highly skilled and their experience so unique that other agencies come from far and wide to learn from them.
We get all sorts of species come through all the time. We never know their background or their temperament, so we have the experience of dealing with all of those unknown factors.
Deputy Manager Susie is an old hand at running training programmes.
I've been here 8 years and I came from a teaching background when I've also worked for other local authorities.
Her students today are the specialist animal team from the West Sussex Fire Brigade.
We do animal rescue and that's why we're here today, okay? And we're having a little bit of education on the exotic type of animals that we may come across.
On average, the UK's fire service rescues around 5,000 animals every year. So they're taking a unique course in reptile handling.
We've had a number of house fires where there are reptiles and snakes in the property. With the growing number of reptiles in people's homes, we have to have familiarisation with that animal so we know how to handle it, how to deal with it, whether it's going to be dangerous to us or the public or not.
We're going to talk to them about kind of situations they could maybe find themselves in.
The centre is home to many reptiles. Some confiscated by customs, others donated to be used in teaching. So there's no shortage of cold-blooded creatures for the firefighters to get to grips with. Susie starts them off with something small.
They're not all this tame, they can be a bit flighty, they can bite.
This leopard gecko was an unwanted pet.
So what you want to do is make sure that you're restraining around the shoulders and around the pelvis, basically. If I'm worried he's going to bite me, I need to hold him either side of his jaw and have one finger on top. What I need to be careful of, you see he's breathing there? Yeah, don't clamp him around his throat. Okay, he won't appreciate it. So do you want to have a little... Start holding hamster or anything else, just have one hand and make sure he's not about to jump off. Yeah, you see he's having a little wander now, you're in trouble, aren't you? See where he
They're
goes.
little needles, aren't they?
Yeah, it's got quite sharp claws, but
Yeah.
tiny.
So far, so easy.
I've got some much scarier stuff we need to play with.
Up next, a hazardous amphibian.
That's a cane toad. They're pretty nasty. This chap will eat mice and chicks and stuff like that.
The cane toad can grow to the size of a rugby ball.
They've got a nasty bite on them that he might just plop out of there in a minute, so you guys could catch, be fine, yep.
And has an unusual way of defending itself.
Those big glands behind the eyes there are full of bufotoxin and they secrete it down their backs. He's also really cold.
When threatened, it oozes a paralysing liquid.
The bufotoxin runs down the skin and you don't really want to be ingesting that in any way.
And the cane toad's got another trick to deter predators.
Hey.
Urinating.
Should have passed him on quicker, shouldn't I? I'm just going to pass him to somebody. So you're making a ring with your fingers and sitting him in it.
This one has been donated to the centre specifically for training.
Our main message to them is that if you don't have to handle it, don't handle it. But the only way to really drive that message home is to let them go and have a bit of a play with these animals and feel the power of them.
He's lighter than he actually looks, but yeah, you can feel him blowing himself up.
As the fire crew grow in confidence,
Pop them back down and just move your hand away from the bitey end before you let go of the legs.
Susie ups the stakes.
So this is a carpet python, Australian. You are within her reach.
The constrictor will bite the first.
Yeah. It is a constrictor. It's not venomous, obviously, because otherwise I would be really mean leaving it there with you. Yeah. The reason people are scared of snakes is because you can't read their behaviour in the way that we've learnt to read mammals' behaviours.
This is Susie's very own pet snake.
Somebody want to come and take this and have a little dance? Keep your feet moving to keep turning because you don't want its head coming back up towards you.
Strong.
Yeah. Again, if you want to pick it up, put the hook in front of it and get under its chin if you can, but just do what works.
Silent, isn't it?
Yeah, really heavy. She's not as big as they get by a long way. Should we put him in the tub?
There you go.
I've got to say, that was spot on. So don't call me, call him.
No slip-ups yet, but Susie has a few more surprises in store for the firefighters. In the quarantine wing, intern Dan is attempting to get the Iranian rabbit back into his travelling container.
Go on then.
Arta could be carrying rabies,
In you go.
so Dan needs to be very careful not to get bitten.
Go on. In the box, please. I don't think he wants to go back in his box. I think I'm just going to close the door, so just in case he tries to escape. You want to go inside, huh?
The Ark doesn't have room to house animals for their stint in quarantine.
There we go. Easy. He is in.
So, as soon as he's fed and watered, Arta's off to the loading bay.
So the rabbit's going on a van to quarantine kennels. They're going to look after him there for a few months. Yeah, so we're all good. Big van for a small rabbit.
Okay, what will pay right?
Yeah, all good. You do. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Air Pets is a nearby isolation facility. And this new arrival is nothing out of the ordinary for their import and quarantine advisor, Megan.
We get lots of rabbits, mainly rabbits. We do get the odd guinea pig or rodent. The reason they have to do the 4-month quarantine is to make sure that they're free of any symptoms.
Once Arta's given the all clear, he'll be reunited with his family.
I can understand why people pay a lot of money to ship their rabbits. It's still somebody's pet, regardless of whether it's a small animal or a cat or dog.
Back at the centre, another animal is waiting to be discharged. For Supervisor Kaylee, uniting pets with their owners is one of the best bits of the job.
Getting a dog for an owner, so he's ready to go. The owner said he's called Bouncer.
And Bouncer is aptly named.
Bouncer hasn't got any front legs, but he seems to have adapted really well to it. He must have been like this for a while.
Bouncer is a stray from China, where she was filmed by animal rescuers in the city of Ho Hot, 300 miles from Beijing.
She was found in the early hours of the morning, bouncing down the street, hence the name.
The footage was posted online and spotted by dog lover Sue from Hull.
She was born without her front legs. Luckily it was rescuers that found her, and she was posted on Facebook. I saw the video of her and I was just humbled by her spirit, her will to live. A lot of people were saying, I hope she finds a good home, but nobody was coming forward to say they'd take her.
Sue wanted to adopt Bouncer, but flying her over from China wasn't cheap.
Started a crowdfunding page on Facebook to raise the initial £1,600 for her adoption fee, and a lot of generous people donated, people that I've never met, and a lot of people that are now following her story.
It's a big day for Sue.
She survived all that time on the streets with no human contact. Bit emotional now. now it's close.
Bouncer's paperwork shows that she's had all her vaccinations, and Kaylee's ready to get her on her way.
Nice to meet you.
But after her tough ordeal, Bouncer's not quick to trust anybody.
Oh, it's okay, it's okay. Come here. You're a bit nervous. It's okay. We don't really know how they've been treated before they get here, so anything could happen to this dog. So I'd rather take my time. We don't want to rush or stress them out in any way.
Kaylee's softly approach seems to be working.
Hi. It's okay. That's better. We got plenty of time. I'm in no rush.
And she's hoping she'll be able to take Bouncer to meet her new owner very soon. Heathrow's Animal Reception Centre is home to a collection of cold-blooded characters.
When you pick any of these things.
Deputy Manager Susie is teaching a team of firefighters how to handle them. And she's about to introduce them to one of the more dangerous ones, with the help of colleague Tristan.
This is a Morlex crocodile, and we've had this for a short while. It's actually run quite a bit since it's been here.
The croc was seized en route to Frankfurt and will soon be rehomed. Although not yet fully grown, it's strong enough to do some serious damage, so Tristan's taking no chances.
Plonk this over here so you've got something to stand behind it if it decides to get a bit feisty. You can interlock them, yes.
With the firefighters safely behind the riot shields,
these are very good. We can see through them, so we can see what the animal's doing. The disadvantage is they can see what we're doing as well.
Tristan's plan is to bring the croc out to them, and he's got just the tool for the job.
Something like this, which is basically a very big bird net. We'll get trampled if I come out quickly.
The croc is not going to make it easy.
It's just moved down into the pool area, so I'm hopefully going to be able to drag it up from the pool and round.
But Tristan's trusty bird net doesn't let him down.
The dangerous bit is obviously the head, so I'm going to put a bit of weight on it by kneeling on it slightly. Not my full body weight, because I might injure the animal.
Although the croc needs to be handled firmly, Tristan is careful to make sure it can still breathe and is not harmed.
I'm now coming in under the net.
He still has to neutralise its deadliest weapon. 60 razor-sharp teeth inside a powerful jaw.
You don't want to put your hand round the side of the jaws. You come across the top and push the upper jaw down, and then you slide the other hand underneath and round the side. And I've got my thumb over the top. So I've got the jaws shut. If it thrashes around, I'm likely to let go because it's quite slippery. Right, lift it up. If somebody wants to come round and swap with Susie, I'm not holding the full weight, I'm just holding the dangerous bit.
Your job is to stop it trying to thrash, so clamp that under your arm.
Under your arm. You can feel the weight of that. And that tail is all muscle pretty much.
The thing is with these is you need both hands around the head, which leaves you nothing to control the rest of the body. If they do get teeth into you, it's a ripping, and they death roll.
If anybody wants to feel the groove underneath on the lower jaw, can you feel that groove in there? Yeah, that's what I've got the fingers in. Lower it down together.
Once the fire crew have all had a go, Tristan has the most dangerous job of all, releasing the croc.
So I'm going to move into a position where this foot's live. I can now bring my hand here, back, across, and go like that.
With a bit of encouragement, the feisty reptile slinks back into its enclosure. But the firemen can't relax just yet. Susie has saved the best for last. In the kennels, Supervisor Kaylee is getting rescue dog Bouncer ready to meet her new owner, Sue.
Okay, I'm gonna pick you up now. It's okay, that's it. Oh. Is that okay? Is that better? We all right? We're not gonna move too quickly.
Having had to survive on the streets of China, Bouncer's wary, and Kaylee has to handle her carefully.
Come on. It's okay, we're ready to go. That's it, you sit on me. We'll get your box in a minute. It's a bit of a trek from here to the reception where they meet the owners, so I'm gonna carry him from here. Come on then.
Finally, it's the moment Sue's been waiting months for.
Just a little bit nervous, so you got him? He's very nervous, but he's all right.
They're beautiful. Waited a long time for you.
First introduction successfully over. Sue can get Bouncer on her way to her new home in Hull.
Bye. Oh, we'll have a safe drive back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
The visiting fire crew have one last reptile to grapple with, and it's not to be taken lightly.
The trick with this guy is to pretty much stay behind him.
This aquatic reptile may not look like much,
Snapping turtle.
but its razor-sharp beak can cut a finger clean off.
With these guys, I always say it's like pulling out of a junction, all right, in your car. Go or don't go, but don't hesitate, all right? So as soon as I'm about 12, 18 inches away, I'm kind of committed by then, okay? And the same thing when I let go, what tends to happen is people demonstrate, yeah, they grab it and they've got it. And then when they let go, they go. You have to let go at the same speed that you catch it.
Snapping turtles are native to North America, but this one's been living at the centre for 10 months.
So I'm going to get fairly close. Okay, and I'm going to pick him up right by the base of the tail. Now I can pick him up like that, but you can see he's trying to kick my hands away and it hurts. And he's really heavy. So if I need to restrain him for any amount of time, I'm probably just going to hold him like this, but on the floor, okay? If I need to pick him up and move him, if I'm worried about dropping him, to be honest, I'm going to pick him up by the tail, move him to where I want him to go, gently put his plastron down there. So, who's up?
It's hardly surprising no one's rushing to volunteer.
It's not comfortable, don't get me wrong, you won't do him any damage, and so again, just pick him up, put him where you want and put him down gently, and then move your hands away at the same speed you picked him up. Good, yeah, that's better, yeah.
It's just the strength of it, wasn't it? It was a very small animal, okay, and it's being aware of its hazards, i.e. the snap end.
If he's gonna snap, then let him snap, and as soon as he snaps, then grab him. That's it, hands away from you. Bravo.
And the legs are so much stronger than you expect.
Exactly.
Really push on it.
If you don't handle it, you don't really appreciate how important that is.
The snapping turtle is safely contained, and the firefighters all make it out unscathed.
They've done really well today. You can tell that they're quite used to being hands-on with animals, even though they've not handled reptiles before. They've got some real skill. Yeah, they've done really well, and I hope they've learned a little bit.
Arthur the pet rabbit is nearing the end of his trip to quarantine, and his family are looking forward to getting him back. The fire crew successfully completed their course and are now better equipped to deal with any reptiles they encounter. And up in Hull, Bouncer's already feeling right at home.
Considering she's never lived in a house before and I've got 9 cats and 2 other dogs, she's just settled right in with the rest.
She's even being measured up for her very own custom-made set of wheels.
We're really excited about, aren't we, getting you running properly without falling over.